Monday Night Football, we have the Falcons visiting the Eagles, so it's a big bird game. So if you like birds, this is the right game for you. Now, right now, the spread is -6 Eagles, with the total being at 46.5. Now, there is something big, huge, tremendous about Nick Foles, and we all know what it is. I don't even have to say it. I mean, it's huge. He even has a nickname after it. It's the fact that he won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's it. There's nothing else I'm talking about. It's the fact that he won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. No matter what LeGarrette Blount said, that's all I'm focusing on. The vibes are going to be high in Philadelphia because Nick Foles is doing his retirement ceremony. But that being said, we have to jump in with the game at hand because Nick Foles, again, retirement ceremony, he's not currently playing. So who is playing? The Falcons. Kirk Cousins. Everyone loves him. He shops at Costco, but then a couple years ago comes out, total chain up. He just looked, as the kids would say, like a cold killer. I can't say that. I'm not cool enough to say that. I'm also way not cool enough to wear the chain, but I am cool enough to wear the Costco clothing. Although I did buy my first big piece of clothing. It was a pair of jeans that were over $100, so it was a big boy purchase. But with the Falcons, they kind of stunk it up against the Steelers, and it's really tough whenever someone plays the Steelers to be like, are you not a good football team, or is it just because it's Mike Tomlin and the Steelers that they're just going to muck you up so much? The vibes are really high for Atlanta coming in here, but what they have to do is they have to get their receivers going if they want a chance to beat the Eagles, which something tells me I don't really want. If they want a chance to beat us, they have to get their receivers going. Now, as far for the Eagles, they had a great game in Brazil. Obviously came out with a win. And again, the field was just so weird that I was just happy we escaped that game without any injuries. The run game for the Eagles, I love it. Passes within the first 5 yards. The Eagles actually dominated that. There's some stat that Warren Sharp said where it popped into my ear and I went, oh, that's very fascinating. But it's the fact that the Eagles pass defense was incredible when the pass was in 0 to 5 yards. So that's what a lot of Atlanta does. I think as of right now, it's just a little bit like dink and dives with Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins will eventually be able to open up and throw down the field because that's what Kirk Cousins does. I mean, we saw him with Justin Jefferson, but I also just don't see the Falcons making that many throws downfield, and he did look like a guy who just came back who tore his ACL. Now, the Eagles did have to travel back from Brazil, which is a 10-hour flight, but they also get a lot of extra rest days because they played on Friday and now they're playing on Monday. So I don't know how to calculate like, hey, you're playing. I still think it's fine. I still think it counts as rest, but it's also week 2, so rest doesn't really matter as much as like week 7. I was speaking weird because I was holding in a burp. Another big takeaway from the game is that Saquon Barkley turns out is a really good running back. I think it's just a really good running back, period. But when he has blockers and he can actually run the ball, it looks very good. I think his first play where he got the ball and just completely slipped and fell, everyone's like, really? This is who we got? And then from there, it was like, oh, okay, this is Saquon Barkley and he's a stud and we should all appreciate the fact that we even had him and the Giants let him up. I cannot believe the Giants let him up. Everyone's gonna be talking about that Hard Knocks video for forever where it's like, that's fine as long as he doesn't go to Philly. I won't be able to sleep at night. Well, guess what, guy? I hope you take some Ambien or something to help you fall asleep because Saquon Barkley is officially on the Eagles and he's having some impact on these games. Now on the other side of the ball, Mitchell playing defense. He was a real, what do the kids call it? A disruptor. I mean, he had some fire and he actually felt like he had a little bit of Philly in him because it was a little bit of like an underdog. I know he was in Toledo and Toledo obviously isn't like an Alabama. I think he even got an offer to go play at Alabama. He's like, no, you guys didn't trust me. Toledo has my back. And I think he kind of brings that same type of edge to the Birds where it's like, hey, everyone's discounting me. I'm better than you. Let me show you. So I love the fire that he's bringing to this team. So very happy to watch him develop because I think he's going to be able to finally stop some people for passing on the Eagles so much. I know when offense, defense, now flipping back to offense, one key injury is that AJ Brown's not playing. I think he's not super injured, which I'm happy about. He's just not playing for this game, which is definitely going to have an impact on the Eagles receiving capabilities, but hopefully we can just blow past that and just have a super strong run game. And maybe Dallas Goedert gets activated a little bit. There was also Jahan Dotson, which he didn't get, I think, like almost anything that first game, but he is still a really good young receiver. Looking at the percent splits right now, we have 38% of the bets on the Eagles with 82% of the money backing that. Now, this is where the line gets a little bit interesting because it was pretty much stuck at -6.5, -6.5. Then it dropped to -6, went up 6.5, now it's at -6, and now it's even at some low books. Now, even at some books, it's at -5.5, so not happy about seeing that type of line move against my team. But it doesn't matter because we have to put all this into the effect formula and see what pops out. I'm not a big stat guy, but here's some stats for you. Jalen Hurts in primetime games is actually 8-1-1 against the spread. Obviously, that's fantastic. And what's even more when we really dive into the effect analysis of this all is the fact that he's 10-0 and having his squat video get shown. And what they'll do a weird little picture-in-picture where I think it'll have the tweet or the Instagram caption on the right, and then it would have Jalen Hurts squatting that amount of weight and being like, wow, no other quarterback squats this amount of weight. Or on the other hand, what they're going to do is now show the side-by-side where it's like, oh, Jalen Hurts thought he can squat as much as Saquon Barkley, but he can't. Either the way, Jalen Hurts squats in his videos are on display, so I'm gonna go ahead and give a full point over to the Eagles. Now, thinking about the other side of the ball, the Falcons have Drake London, and he's just been one of my guys forever. Well, not really forever, ever since he got drafted into the league, and I get attached to these people. I did get attached to Derek Carr, and that turned out to be very, very well for me on Sunday. Kind of weird. On the other hand of it, Drake London needs to get activated, and I think he might against this Eagles defense, which I don't like saying, but again, that's the effect formula. We gotta look at both sides of the ball, and we gotta take our entire emotions out of it. I'm gonna go ahead and give a half point over to the Falcons, because I still believe in my heart of hearts that Drake London's good at football. Jason Kelce did recently get a deal for $100 million on his podcast. Now, he's not gonna be playing on the Eagles, but he does have a locker in the Eagles facility. Of course, they don't pay him, but he just likes to be with the team because he thinks it kind of helps him prep for Monday Night Football, which he will be announcing today. Yes, they don't have Jason Kelce, but I kind of feel like the spirit of Jason Kelce is going to be in with the entire Eagles team. On the other hand of it, it is Nick Foles' retirement, so they're going to have just 2 retired Eagles within the Link facility. I don't even know what you call that part of like South Philadelphia. You have Citizens Bank Park, you have the Wells Fargo Center. Is it still called the Wells Fargo Center? I think it is. And then you also have the Link. So I've been in the bathroom in actually each one of these stadiums. That's a fun fact about me. With the mixture of Nick Foles and Jason Kelce, I'm gonna go ahead and give 2 points over to the Eagles. The vibes are just gonna be that much. Philadelphia is a total vibe city. When things are going good, things are going really good. I'm gonna go ahead and put this final line at Eagles -8.5. And I know in my heart of hearts that I should be backing Atlanta here, especially with everything that's happening on Sunday. Dogs are finally winning again, which makes me very, very happy that they're covering. But in my heart of hearts, I just can't go against Philadelphia in this spot.